Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be across this great world of ours. Today is July 7th, 2026, and this is day 26 of my video challenge. And today I want to talk about the World Cup again, especially in light of yesterday's game where Team Belgium soundly beat Team USA in their World Cup Final 16, Sweet 16 matchup. And so today I'm going to, the title of my video is that the USA both lost and won. And so, I haven't watched a lot of the games, mostly because they were being played when I was working, and I wasn't able to. I've said before how I live in Kansas City. We're one of the host cities for the World Cup. We actually had four of the teams being based in Kansas City. So the World Cup champions, Argentina, the reigning champions, Team England, uh, Team Netherlands, and Team Algeria. They were all based here in Kansas City. So four of the teams that were based here, our Arrowhead Stadium held was slated to hold six of the games. I think maybe there's one more knockout round game being played. So that's quite a lot, and it's just been fun having all the international visitors in our city. I haven't bumped into a huge amount, but it's been enough, and it's been fun, right? Especially because I've lived abroad in several countries around the world. I've lived in three different countries in my life: Korea, Germany, and Croatia, and I've traveled to quite a few for just work and pleasure. And for 18 years, I lived in San Francisco, which was a very international, cosmopolitan city. So coming back to Kansas City, I missed that. Although Kansas City now has a lot greater mix than it used to when I was growing up here in the 70s and the 80s. So that's nice. But yeah, it's been good. It's been a really positive World Cup experience across all three countries in North America and Canada. I've been seeing great videos of people, having a great time in Vancouver and Toronto. I've been to both of those cities. I've been to Vancouver several times. What a lovely, lovely place. Just tremendous. I love going to Vancouver. Anytime I could. I went there once for a wedding. Good friend of mine was from BC and had his wedding in Vancouver. And then for work, I went about a half dozen times for work, and just lovely people, beautiful city. The skyline is just amazing, and it's a lot like Seattle in that it's right there uh, on the ocean front. You know, you've got the Victoria Sound, I believe, is right there, and then you turn around and there's the mountains right behind you, and man, whew, just beautiful. And then Toronto, I went to Toronto once for a wedding. Another colleague of mine, friend and colleague, was married in Toronto, and I was really disappointed in my trip to Toronto, and not for the reasons you might think. I was disappointed because I kind of scheduled a fly in the night before the wedding, have the wedding, and then fly out. And as soon as I got to Toronto, I was kicking myself. I was like, oh my God, why didn't I actually take a few more days off work, and spend that time exploring. The Toronto is so beautiful. It's such, oh, just from the moment I touched down, I fell in love with it. It was just great. And I was so mad. I was so mad because I was living in San Francisco, so it's not like it's a cheap or easy flight to head from San Francisco to Toronto. And as soon as I got there, I was just like, oh my god, I can't believe I didn't schedule just a couple more days to kick around Toronto and explore it some more. So I made do with the time that I had. I just loved it. It was so much fun, and I definitely want to go back to Toronto again. And then so Mexico, I've actually gone down to Mexico. I have a cousin who's lived off and on in Mexico since the mid '90s. He grew up in Maryland, and he went down to Mexico after he graduated from got his bachelor's degree, and fell in love with the country and the culture and the people down there. He has since gotten his PhD in comparative literature, English and Spanish comparative literature, and he is a professor in one of the universities down in Mexico City, and teaches writing courses. And yeah, no, he's married to a Mexican national, and she's amazing. And so I've over the years I've gone down many times to visit, and I've actually been lucky enough to have the non-tourist tour of Mexico. So I remember one summer I went down, and my cousin and he took me on a road trip through central Mexico. Sort of, we started off in Mexico City and drove up sort of north through the interior. Beautiful, beautiful place. Lots of great towns to visit, historical places, just a lot of fun, great food. Oh, just amazing. And if you ever go down to any place in Mexico, and everybody wants to go to Mexico for either the pyramids or to go to the coast, I say go visit central Mexico. It is well worth it. Incredible, lots of history. We went to one place called Real de Catorce, and it's an old mining town, silver mining town. And you're driving along in the desert, and then suddenly, just out of nowhere, these mountains just kind of come up out of nowhere, and you drive up the mountains, and there's it's not a caldera, I don't think, but it's just the interior. The town is in the interior of this sort of grouping of mountains, and you have to drive through a mining tunnel. That's a one-way road, or at least it was, when I was there back in the '90s, or the 2000s, early 2000s, and they literally have somebody posted on each side of the tunnel, 24/7, and they would call in and say, "Hey, there's a car coming through. Don't let anybody else on your side." And you drive through this tunnel to the interior of the mountains, and then it opens up to this valley area where this town is, and it's just incredible. It's just so beautiful. But lots of great places, and so everybody's having a great time in Mexico. Sadly, our neighbors to the south, Team Mexico, were defeated one day prior to Team USA being defeated. So I believe that's all three host countries are now out of the running. And so, a lot of, I want to talk about the Mexico defeat. I don't know. I don't know enough about association football to know whether the Norway, and congratulations Team Norway, and congratulations Team Belgium for your wins, respective wins. I don't know if Norway beating Mexico was a huge upset to people who follow the sport regularly. And I would say anybody who's in the final 16 in the knockout round, that's I guess they call it a semifinal or quarterfinal. Quarterfinal, yeah, and then the next round is the semifinals. I don't know, but they maybe it wasn't a surprise to everybody else, but I it was a surprise to me. I expected Mexico to win their round. I didn't really expect America to win our round. A lot of people thought we would. A lot of people that I talked to thought we would. Um, but I was lucky enough to watch the game, and I know that there was a controversy around our star player getting, kind of out of the blue, a red card, which apparently didn't just knock him out for one game; it knocked him out for the rest of the tournament, which seems pretty extreme, honestly. I mean, I can see you getting knocked out for that game because that's normal when you get a red card, but to get knocked out for the whole competition, it seems like you would want to, that would have to be a pretty egregious foul for that to happen, and that you would maybe start with the yellow card first as a warning, and then go to the red card next if it happened again. Um, and I don't know that's all I know about the details of that red card was that what our team player did wasn't necessarily right, but it was kind of one of those things that it wasn't out of the range of what a lot of players were doing during this World Cup series. Like, people are playing for the World Championship. It's once every 4 years. You kind of like you push the envelope a little bit more during the World Cup games, and so what happened wasn't really. I mean, people thought maybe they should have got a yellow card, but not a red card. And so apparently, Mr. Trump, I won't call him president because he's actually not eligible to be president again. It's just our government is so broken that he got sworn in anyway. Um, he put pressure on the FIFA organization to, uh, you know, reverse that call, and they did. Right, and a lot of people really didn't like that, and I would say it was a good and a bad thing, and a good thing um, that happened. Um, so it was a bad thing because it shows. I don't think it says anything poorly about the United States per se, uh, as we already know. You know, Trump is Trump, right? Anything he does should not surprise anybody at this point, and if it does, then you've been, asleep at the wheel for the last, 12 years. But it does shed light on the FIFA organization itself, right? And there have been a lot of people who have talked about the FIFA organization as, sorry, I'm trying to get centered here. And, just kind of any of those organizations like FIFA or the Olympic organizations, the Tour de France organizations, they are private, uh, heavily funded private organizations, and I believe those organizations tend towards corruption. And even though they're private organizations, they have such a huge effect on the global economy and society that they should have um, maybe not government regulation, but certainly increased um, oversiight's not the right word, but just we need to have visibility into what's going on with those organizations, right? If visibility is always a good thing when it comes to organizations and large sums of money. Visibility, so that there can be accountability, right? It's not a bad thing. So I would say it was a good thing because it did show. It was a bad thing in that it left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth. It was a good thing that it showed that the FIFA organization needs some more visibility and accountability, because ultimately we, the fans, fund a lot of what's going on. Not all of it. The taxpayers of all three countries, Canada, U.S., and Mexico, pay for hosting these games, right? So, we deserve accountability, and the fans deserve accountability, visibility, accountability. So, it was bad that it kind of left a bad taste in people's mouth. It was good that it shows that the FIFA organization needs some more visibility and accountability. And it was good, I think, it was good to have Team USA's star player back in the game so that when Team Belgium beat us, it was just going to shut down any talk about unfairness of Team USA not having their star player. Just shut that down. I watched that game, and what I saw was Team Belgium was the better team. They were the better team. I'm not even going to say that Team USA had a bad night, right? Team Belgium was just the better team. And they showed that by how well they controlled possession of the ball. And I looked up the stats after the game, and it said that they held it like 50-something% of the time. But man, it seemed more like it was 60-something% of the time. Not 50-something, it was more like 60-something% of the time. And it seemed like Team USA only had it like 30-something% of the time. To be honest, like I just... I think as good as Team USA was, they just hit their limit. They hit their limit, and they were just outclassed. They were just outclassed and outplayed by Team Belgium. Even towards the end, when it was still 3-1, and Team Belgium got it down by Team USA's goal area, and instead of going for the goal, they just practiced maintaining control of the ball. They just kind of backed. You could see them back off from the goal area, and then they were just passing amongst each other. And that shows a higher level of skill. And training and coordination. Like, nobody had to tell them to do that. They just kind of sensed, oh, you know what? Don't rush things. Don't try and, get into a panic and score. Pull back, ease off. Just focus on maintaining control of the ball. You could tell Team USA was getting panicky, and they were, really trying to get the ball and score. And that's when you make mistakes. And you know what happened? Shortly after that, I had to step away to go do something, came back. Team Belgium had scored another goal. 4-1. And so, I was talking to, one of the other people watching the game. And I was like, yeah, I don't think Team USA had a bad night. I think they were just, they hit their ceiling, and the better team won. And then I went to Google and I checked to see previous games that Team USA and Team Belgium had played, and they had played both of these two teams as they are right now, had played a friendly in March 28th, I think, of this year, 2026, and Belgium beat USA 5-2. So the exact same point spread. The exact same point spread. And at that point I'm like, yeah, no, team Belgium was just the better team. So you know, it was a I wasn't happy that Team USA lost, but it was a fun game nevertheless, because there was just some great athleticism. And with the USA having their star player back in the lineup, there was no question as to who actually won that game. Team Belgium won that game. And that's why I think that even though a lot of people were upset that the U.S. put pressure on the FIFA organization to rescind the red card, it was actually a win for everyone because we just, it settled that question once and for all, right? Team Belgium was the better team. Congratulations to them. Uh, I think, like everybody had signs up like this is our Waffle House. And the joke is, because in America, at least, everyone talks about Belgian waffles, right? Belgian waffles are kind of like the creme de la creme of waffles out there. Breakfast cakes, whether you're talking about pancakes or waffles, it's the Belgian waffles. And so that was a joke on that. And I think people should have had signs ready for in case Team Belgium won, and something like, uh, now I'm going to go have Belgian waffles and eat you for lunch, or something like that. But no, it's it's been a great World Cup so far. There's been a lot of upsets. Um, and I'm looking forward to seeing the conclusion, to see who actually triumphs. And it should be good. And I'm just glad that it's going well, and everyone who's visiting is having a great time. And I think even more so that a lot of Americans who don't get exposed to a lot of international travelers are having a really great time getting that exposure to the international community. I think it's really good. Uh, it's really good in a time right now where there are a lot of narratives in America that are preaching um, nationalism and a withdrawal from the international community. And having the World Cup here in North America, um, and especially I think it's important that it's not just in the United States. It's in all of North America. It's a collaborative. It's in Canada, Mexico, and the USA. Um, just highlights how important and fun the international community is, and how we when we come together, we I think normal, healthy, psychologically healthy humans get along with each other quite well. And I think it's that very small minority of psychologically ill human beings, less than 1% of the human population, cause the problems for the rest of us. Right? We see that. We see all the rhetoric about how horrible it is. Um, but, it's not. It's not. The truth is, it's not. When we all get together, yeah, we have differences. And yeah, sometimes it's irritating. But we generally, normal people generally get along. Hermann Goering, one of the architects of um, the Nazi Party and World War II, wrote in his book that ordinary people never want to go to war. You have to really work hard to make them want to go to war. And he explained why. I mean, he was a natural psychologist. And unfortunately, he used all that talent for evil. And I don't like to use the word evil, but yeah, he did. He did. He used it for evil. And uh, but what he wrote about was very true. Normal human beings do not want to be in conflict with each other. It is only the extremely psychologically ill humans that promote these narratives of fear and violence and scarcity. We don't have a scarcity in this world anymore. We have technology. We can provide food and energy and housing and healthcare for everyone. No one needs to go hungry anymore. No one needs to be homeless anymore. No one needs to go without healthcare anymore. We can do that. It's within our ability, and the mentally ill minority have perpetuated this scarcity mindset to keep everybody in a state of fear, because when you're in fear, you're easy to control. And so ultimately, I think the World Cup is doing a great thing by kind of thawing the ice on that fear and making people go, you know what? Those other people are pretty nice and interesting. Maybe I should rethink this whole narrative. So anyway, that's it. That's everything I wanted to say. And, congratulations to all the teams who are still in the running for the World Cup Championship. And I can't wait to see how it all pans out. And on that note, please remember that you are more important than you know and far more loved than you can imagine. Take care, and I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow.